Welcome back to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph. Are you feeling a little bit better about the market? Are you feeling why I was saying that we are not entering the long bear market, that maybe we're having this temporary month or two long pullback, but it will end? We haven't had the massive run that's characteristic of this year, the year after the Bitcoin halving, that's happened every cycle for the past 3 cycles. So yeah, it's starting to feel a little bit better, right? If I were to show you my screen and show you CoinGecko, you're starting to see in the last 7 days, Bitcoin's up almost 15%, 16% for Ethereum, 11.8% Binance Coin, 18% Cardano. That's what we've been looking for, right? It's good to feel that. So why have I been so bullish on this? Well, I've been here before. I was here in 2017. I've also been through multiple pullbacks. I was also here in the bull market of 2017 as well as the bear market that followed. So when people were saying, oh, we're entering the 3-year bear market, never made sense to me. I did wait it that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. There's an 8% chance that this could be happening, 92% chance this is temporary. We will roll out of this. Now, just because it's been good the last week does not mean we're completely out of this temporary pullback. Sometimes there's another shakeout that happens to really devastate people who start to go long, and then it's ready to be off to the races again. And it just happens that way. You know, whales, they play their games, and just be aware if you're in this space, you are swimming in deep waters. Now, it's a great place to be because you can make amazing returns, but just understanding these things. So that's why I stay away from leverage. I recommend other people stay away from leverage. Number 2, you are patient. It's a critical part of making such good returns in this. But if you're patient with these things, now you can make amazing money. Now, I do think we are headed to some good months ahead of us. However, just know that the crypto doesn't take off uniformly. Sometimes it's Bitcoin that leads the way and then altcoins run. Also, we're seeing that the crypto is really diversifying into the different spaces where it really adds value. So we saw in July of last year a huge run on this new area called DeFi, or decentralized finance, and those took off on their own. We see another independent run on the NFT and gaming space because it's become its own ecosphere within the cryptocurrency space. And I'm seeing some signs that maybe it's ready to run again. I hadn't expected so early, but I have to pay attention to these signs, and I'll share with you some of these signs because maybe it is ready to run. There's definitely some activity there. A lot of activity. So maybe it's ready to run again. Now, we did have a huge run in February and March. Little bit of April, and then a huge pullback on a lot of the valuations of these projects, the tokens, and even the NFTs within. So it's been a good time to be picking up on these projects and the NFTs, but we're starting to see some price increase again. Let me share with you some of what I'm seeing. So I'm an investor myself, been investing for 20 years, crypto just 4 years, and I look at patterns, and patterns tell me a lot. And what pattern am I seeing? Well, let me share with you how simple it is. So I bought a lot of Axie Infinity land back 2 years ago in the bear market. And with each piece of land came different items that came as like a bonus with the land chest that you got. When you open the chest, you not only got your piece of land, but you got a bunch of items that came with it. And so these items I have for sale on the marketplace, and I tiered them up like this. And what's interesting is there seems to be a big correlation between when these items, all of a sudden these sell orders start firing, and when things are taking off. And I want you to look back with this with me. So back when we were in this before, you see all these sales. Well, back in November and December, we had a run, and then it paused, and then February, actually November, December was the far end of the previous run, which really was a little bit sooner in September and October. But then we saw this pause, and then it started firing again in February and took off all the way through March. And you see all these sale items. Your land item has been sold, your land item has been sold, and then it really tapered off. And then you see, starting again in June 1st I had one sell, but June 12th is when it started picking up. June 19th, June 23rd, June 27th, June 25th, June 28th, again this morning, and that tells me that these sell orders are being picked up. Now they're tiered, which means everything cheaper than them has sold, and finally these sell orders are being hit, is allowing me to take tiered profits, but it also gives me an idea when some massive action is happening because I don't check this every day. And so it's nice to be able to see these and just sort by Axie Infinity in my email, and bam, I can see a lot of action happening. Another place I see a lot of action happening is in the VV marketplace. Now you're probably familiar with VV. I've talked about them a ton of times. Ecomi is the name of the project that has the VV app. VV is their app. Omi is their token, and I've covered Omi a lot, as well as VV Collectibles, and the marketplace for VV Collectibles on the resale market has been taking off, and many of the price floors have moved up tremendously. Currently on this one, you see this is the Todd McFarlane Batman. I think the price floor on that has doubled in the last couple days alone, so that tells me action is happening again in NFTs. So I like to keep an eye on not only the existing NFTs out there, but what might be able to be an extra good deal. In other words, projects that haven't yet released. That might be a good deal when they first release, especially if I can find out the good information on them and maybe get them when they first come out. So I want to share with you one of them, and that's Project Seed. Now, this is a Medium article on Project Seed in a glance. And this one looks really interesting. Now, you're probably familiar with games. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I'm an investor myself. I like to go where the money is. And though I do like games, I don't play them as much as I did as a teenager. In fact, not near as much as I did as a teenager. As a teenager, I spent a lot of time playing video games. But there is kind of this evolution. Do you remember way back when, and you would buy, say, Halo 2, and then Halo 3 would come out, and you would lose all that you had accomplished in Halo 2, and you had to pay like $60 for Halo 3, and you would play Halo 3, and then Halo 4 would come out. So that's how things were for a while. Then they created kind of this idea of free-to-play games so that you could just get it, and it would be an ever-evolving game. So like they didn't come out with like whatever game and then the second version of it. They just kept upgrading it. Does that make sense? And you wouldn't lose anything that you had earned, but they would come up with more content that was unlocked. In some cases, you had to buy more to unlock the additional content, but the true free-to-play games, you didn't have to pay for anything at all. There were cosmetic items that you could buy on the marketplace, and that provided revenue for the company, but also provided an environment for you that you could play completely for free. And in many cases, those items that you could buy were just cosmetic, so it didn't create a pay-to-win mechanism. The next evolution of this is play to earn. So Axie Infinity was one of the first to really do this within the crypto space, and it's not my game style, though I can say, having bought some of those chests, my return on investment on those is absolutely tremendous. Made a killing. I'm actually getting some from some of the bonus land items. I'm getting as much money back out from one of the 15 land items I got with my whole chest as the chest cost me back in the day. That I already sold the land associated with that and made great money on that. So it has been a phenomenal return over the past 2 years, having invested pretty heavily in that project and the items related to that project. So I always keep my eye out on what's coming down the pipe that might do really well. Project Seed, really interesting. Let me just read to you some of the details here. Project Seed is one of the first gaming platforms built on the Solana blockchain. Project Seed ecosystem includes a game studio, DEX, NFT marketplace, and a wallet. Project Seed aims to bring one of the world's first blockchain gaming to players' mobile phones and devices. In other words, mobile phones and iPads. Really exciting. NFTs, if the user creates or owns equipment, lands, evolves their Zeds. Their Zeds are like the creatures that you can ride, or synthesizes new breeds of Zeds, they can receive or mint an NFT and sell it as an in-game asset. NFTs will have a mint and burn mechanism. Those are the kind of mechanisms I like to hear that'll help a game do well. Now, we'll never know, like, until it comes out, how playable the game is. But if they make a playable game, and the team behind this has a lot of experience in playable games, so it's a good bet that they will, but you never know until you do know. This is one to watch for sure. It also has DeFi. Within Project Seed DeFi, users could interact with the decentralized cryptocurrency exchange or swap for coins natively on the app. They could also access the NFT marketplace, P2P, and rental marketplace. In other words, you can rent your items out. I love those kind of metrics. DAO, players govern the world in the ecosystem. Voting will be available on the platform for the players to propose and vote. Project Seed is creating a decentralized mobile app game where players can involve in game advancement. Love it. You can get this at projectseed.medium.com, and you can read this all for yourself. This is where gaming is going, and this is where cryptocurrency and gaming meet, right? So really exciting what's coming down the line. Want to share with you Envoy. Now, I've strengthened, I guess, my network of some of the venture capital firms and some of the people in the space that are heavily involved in the projects in the early days, helping them put together their marketing and other things. And having made a lot of connection in the space, I find out in advance of some of the good projects that are coming down the pipe. And one of those is Envoy.art. Now, unfortunately, I can't share too much information on this, but the team has a lot of connections in the entertainment space and other things. You can go, this is their first version of their website, Envoy.art. So you can come here. There's a little 15-second video you can watch. It'll be launching later this year. One to keep an eye on. Some of these collectibles, and it has everything to do with the licenses, the likability of whatever licenses they are, will do tremendous returns in the future. So as an investor, this is an area that I do put part of my focus in. So I focus on the Cardanos, the polka dots, and other things. But I'd have to say NFTs make up at least 25%. NFTs in the gaming and the gaming environment makes up at least 25% of my entire portfolio because of how lucrative it can be in investing in some of the right NFTs early on. Another game coming down the pipe that looks really good is Outplay.games. Now this is fun, mini esports on the go, so you can play in these competitive tournaments, you can level up your monetization strategy, you can join the beta, you can monetize the SDK, so I like the interaction that a lot of these games are creating, and with the ability of cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency wallets, it's just introducing some mechanisms that were never there before. That in some of these games like Project Seed, you can create like a dungeon. As people get stuff out of that dungeon, you can have benefit too as the creator. Outplay Games has some monetization that you can be involved with. Really excited to see where all of this is going. So, this is more on Project Seed. I want to tell you how lucrative this can be. Now, last November and December, there was a licensed NFT that came out. They had the NBA license, and not a lot of people were talking about it. And I watched some of their NFTs, and I was like, I don't know exactly what to think of this. You know, they have the NBA license. That's a big deal, but they're not like NBA cards. They're these moments, and I have to imagine this will do well, but I don't know. Nobody else is talking about it. But come on, the collectability of this seems good, but we'll see how well they do. I don't know. So I put $1,100 into it. Buying some packs, I bought some common packs, and they were just available. The rare packs and other ones, like if you went through the hassles of being there at the drop, and like anything, you know, when they're dropping the rare packs, you had to be there, and it was frustrating because they'd have more interest than they had packs, and you know, their servers would shut down because they had too many people there. And even back in November and December, it was the case for NBA Top Shot. Now, of course, you've heard of them now. They're freaking huge. But actually in November and December, nobody was talking about them. And I thought, So I wanted to share with you what kind of returns a good project with the right licenses and the right marketing mechanisms can do. And I think they marketed for just a little bit even, but they got so many new users they couldn't keep up. They had to shut off the marketing faucet. I don't even know that they've turned it back on since then. And so, the return on investment, at one point, the $1,100, the cards that I got out of it, plus I did buy one LeBron James Series 1, paid $57 for it on the resale market, I think in January. And that total amount between the packs and the LeBron James I bought went up at one point to $180,000. I mean, that's serious investor level returns. So you see why this space gets my attention, because the returns can be phenomenal. So I just wanted to share with you what the potential is with the right licenses and the right teams and mass adoption, right? NBA Top Shots has gotten some really good adoption. You even have NBA players that are buying their own moments or their team's moments and everything. So it's getting some really good adoption. And as some of these NFTs get broader adoption, you can see the value, especially on the early stuff where the total number of mints is pretty low. Later on, as it grows down the road, and the only way people can get those early mints is buying those from people who already have them, that's when the returns can get really high. So, I wanted to share with you more on NFTs and why I'm hot on this space. Obviously, I created this channel as an investor myself to share with you what I'm doing that has provided life-changing wealth. Now, this isn't my first cycle, so if you think this is your first cycle and you're going to have the same kind of returns that I did, well, my first cycle, I did get 10x, but I didn't take gains, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was brand new to the crypto space, so I didn't even invest in the very best projects. I invested in some okay ones because I didn't know how to evaluate bad versus mediocre versus good, so at least I was in mediocre, much more mediocre than bad, and a few decent ones, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I got in halfway through the bull run, or I could have done a lot better. Life-changing wealth in one cycle doesn't often happen, though I won't say it never happens, but it's very realistic if you commit yourself to 5 years to be here. Not just this cycle, which I think we're halfway through the bull run. I think especially with this big pullback, deals are great again, and that we probably will have another major run-up from here, if not two, and then we're going to probably have a big cooling off period. If you thought this 2 months was a little bit slow and hard, trust me, the bear market is like that, but amplified over a period of about 2.5 years of that. But it is a great place to be, and if you will stick around and be here then, and that's when you're making some really good acquisitions, especially if you take profits during this bull run and set them aside to the side so that during that bear market you can be scooping up like crazy. That's what I did. And then, you look like a genius on your second cycle. And, I'm a pretty good buyer. That's why I did it at a professional level for a strategic investment firm, as I made their strategic investments and did their acquisitions. So I like to think I'm good at it. But, I was a C student in junior high. I only got A's, I think, my last year or two of high school. And in college, I guess I did pretty well because I realized or connected to what I needed. But, never thought of myself as brilliant or anything. I'm just a regular person. I came from a lower income family, didn't want to stay lower income my whole life, was willing to work hard to not stay lower income my whole life. And, if you apply that work ethic and that tenacity in the right field, such as cryptocurrency, and you learn how to make good investments for yourself, you can do exceptionally well. Now, I do have to cover that none of what I say is investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just an investor myself, and I'm sharing with you what I've done that's made above average returns, and I hope it does that same for you. Love it if you joined us in the Telegram channel that's below. You can also follow me on Twitter at CryptoRain with 2 N's, not just one. In the Telegram channel, what's cool is the community has been very positive. Great people in there. I'm in there usually a couple times a day, but even when I'm not, there's some very smart people in there. Do note the scammers can join too, and so if somebody's ever asking you for money in there, or they're asking you to call some WhatsApp number, that is always 100% a scam. I don't need your money. But join the Telegram channel to interact with some really good people, and follow us on Twitter. We are going to be adding a Discord channel, so that'll be fun coming up. One of my admins been awesome helping with that, so I appreciate you for all that you do. My admins are amazing. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm going to hand you off to Manuela, who created this song for all you rainmakers. Rainmakers are those who commit to the 5-year vision, and join me on this journey. See you soon.
Flowing like rain, the timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.